Welcome, everyone. Come on in. Happy Thursday. It is June 4th, 2026. I'm glad to be back with y'all. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes, let you come on in, give you a couple of minutes to make sure you tag somebody to say, Walking Through the Fire is on live right now. You don't want to miss tonight's conversation. Make sure you bring somebody in with you. Make sure you bring somebody in with you. We had a great conversation last week. I am looking forward to a great conversation tonight. And so when you get in the house, when you get in the live, make sure that you put in the chat, hey, what's up, y'all? So we can give you a shout out. I want to take the time to thank every single person that finds the time to come over here to Walking Through the Fire every Thursday and support this podcast. Listen to what thus saith the Lord. Listen to the information and the tools that are being given to not only you, but to me, especially when we have guests on. And so again, I say thank you. Make sure you stay plugged in. Make sure you stay engaged, because engaging is what keeps this podcast in the algorithm. And what we want to do, we want to make sure that we are impactful. We impactful over here. And so I know that the word says if we just touch one somebody, we have done our job. So I'm here just to help one somebody. And so, but I got crazy enough faith to think and know and believe that if I can help one, I can help five. So that's where I'm going with that. Again, welcome to Walking Through the Fire. I am your host, Crystal Majors. This is a platform where we talk to real people using real life experiences, talking about real life issues to help each and every one of us and the coming generation toward the goal of reaching our next. So come on in the room. Listen, tonight's topic is when you realized it was just you. I know you saying, well, Crystal, what do you mean? What do you mean? Have you ever looked around and you said, it's just me? I'm by myself. Have you ever had something important, a milestone, an accomplishment in your life, and you looked around and there was nobody to support you? When you decided to step out on faith and do some things that you've never done, to get to some places you ain't never been, and you look around and there's nobody there to push you. There's nobody there to encourage you along the way. This conversation is for you on tonight. The word is so true. It says that Jesus will never leave us nor forsake us. And so on tonight, we're going to talk about when you realized that you were alone and it was just you. So I got a couple of questions for you. Again, I think I asked the first one already. Have you ever looked around? Just think back. Think back on some milestones that you have may reached in your life. Think about some times where you've really, really seen the fruits of your labor and you wanted to share it with somebody, but you didn't have anybody to share it with. And so, have you ever asked yourself, well, who gonna be there for me? Who got my back? Who supports me when you support everybody else? And when I think about this, people, you get invited to so many things. Sometimes our schedules are so busy that you got 5 places to be in one day, and Lord knows you got good intentions to go, but for whatever reason, you just can't make it to everything because you got so much going on. But you want to support, you have all good intentions in supporting. Has that ever been you? Where you just look around, excuse me, where you look around and you don't understand why you by yourself. You don't understand why you going through what you going through when you trying to get to where you going. I know it sounds like I'm talking in code. Where you get to where you trying to go. And so again, I was just thinking about, we grow up and we always have, when you grow up, you always got a lot of friends. Everybody is your friend. And I know I'm not by yourself. You have a parent or a guardian always say, everybody ain't your friend. Just because they say, yeah, that's my friend, don't mean that they really your friend. And sometimes people's definition of friends are different, but they friends. And then you wonder why people let you down. You wonder why the people that you depend on to support you don't support you. Have you ever had somebody sit in your face and say, I'm your ride or die. I'll never leave you. I got your back. You ain't got to worry about nothing. I'll take care of everything. And they had good intentions, but it never happened. Or when you really needed them, they weren't there. I know I ain't by myself tonight. I'm taking my time with this. I know I ain't by myself tonight. Some people don't have support systems. Some people don't have family where they can support. Some people don't have friends where they can support. Some of us do have family that supports. Some of us do have friends that support. But when you really need them, are they there? And sometimes, no matter what you're going through, your friends and your family can't help. Ooh. No matter what obstacles you may face, sometimes they can help us get through it. Sometimes they can help remove the obstacles. And sometimes it's only God. I want to show you something. We're going to talk about Matthew 26 on today. And the reason I'm focusing on Matthew is because this is when Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane. And this is when Jesus, for me, as human, walking in flesh, the word, was probably, I say, at one of his weakest points. And this gives us a glimpse of how human Jesus was. And that he was here to put on, to adore the sins of the world. He walked the earth and he was blameless. And God sent his only begotten son to be an example to us. And when he was down here, he didn't get no passes. Didn't nobody give him no freebies. He had to feel pain like us. He had to go through trial and tribulation like us. He had to go through people lying on us. He had to go through friends betraying him, leaving him. And at the end, all he had was God. But when did he realize that it was just him? Again, the question is, when did you realize that it was just you? Or have you realized that sometimes there are some things, some roads, some journeys that you have to travel by yourself? And so in Matthew 26, let me paint the picture for you. Jesus and the disciples had a full day, okay? Like this was the week of the festival, the Passover, all of the people coming in to Jerusalem. And so this particular day, one event, Jesus and the disciples, and you may know what I'm talking about. And again, if you don't, start at the beginning of Matthew chapter 26. They were in this man's house, and his daughter had leprosy that they healed him from. And so the man graciously, because he was thankful of what Jesus and the disciples had done, to give him dinner. Something jumped off at the dinner, y'all. A woman came in there, poured oil on, some expensive oil on Jesus. And the disciples almost wanted to flip the tables like Jesus did in the sanctuary, in the temple. They was beside themselves. They couldn't understand why she would waste some expensive oil. And at that point, God, in the midst of it, told them again and again, not for the first time, not for the second time, that his time was going to be short and that they shouldn't focus on frivolous things. And they needed to focus and towards their eye and their minds on him and what was going on and be in the moment, because he wasn't always going to be with them. So then, after they left there, they ended up going to the house where, remember, you got the Passover, all the festivals going on, all the people coming in town. And so it brings us to the Last Supper. When I tell you the day ain't over, though, this is just midday. So bring them to the Last Supper. Now, we're talking about, when did you realize that it was just you? And so I believe that God understood, Jesus understood, but it hadn't become real yet. You know, again, you got friends that they've been around you for years. You know, when you move, they move just like that, and they know you and you know them inside out, and y'all homeboys and y'all homegirls and day ones and A1s. And so you never fathom that when I really need you, you'll never be there. Never is a concept or a thought in your finite mind. You couldn't tell me that my bestie won't be there for me. And so as they were in the Last Supper, and I truly believe on the way to the house where the Last Supper was prepared and the disciples and Jesus were having this dinner, I believe the entire time God was speaking to him and God was revealing some things to him. Because if he didn't, he wouldn't have never known, sitting at the table, that there was an enemy amongst them. Okay, you don't believe me. Let me read it. So in Matthew 26, and starting at verse 20, at the Last Supper, Jesus said, when it was evening, when it was evening, Jesus sat at the table with the 12. While they were eating, he said, I tell you the truth. One of you will betray me. That just didn't come out the blue. They didn't do anything. All Jesus knew was the 12 I'm rolling with are my homeboys. They gonna be there with me. But God dropped something, gave him some discernment, gave him some revelation. And he said, hold up. While we sitting here eating this meal, I want you 12 to know that one of y'all, I'm going to tell you the truth, one of y'all going to betray me. Have you ever gotten discernment or revelation from God that somebody and something wasn't right? Sometimes us women call it women intuition. And though we have women intuition, we also got something called the Holy Ghost, which provides us with the discernment. And God deposits revelation in his people. So have you ever gotten discernment or revelation from God that something and somebody wasn't right in your camp? That's the same thing Jesus was feeling at the Last Supper. He said, hold on, one of y'all gonna betray me. Something ain't right. Something ain't smelling right. Somebody ain't right sitting at this table. But the thing is, Jesus already knew who it was. I believe he knew who it was. But every time somebody and something ain't right, give it a little time and they'll expose themselves. You ain't got to do it. The Holy Ghost will expose what ain't right. Again, have you ever looked around and realized it was just you? So in 22, it says that greatly distressed, like they was tore up. Because see, I love you, Jesus. We've been walking with you for most of 3 years, the whole time in your ministry. You pulled me out the pit. You pulled me. I mean, when I didn't have nothing, when you supplied, when I left everything behind to follow you. I mean, you got friends that'll help you when your rent is due, they'll help you. They'll help you with your kids. They'll help you get out of binds. When you down and depressed, they'll help you be pulled out of the pit with encouraging words. So they were distraught, baby. I believe they were grabbing their fake pearls saying, hold on. Jesus, what you mean one of us is going to betray you? That don't even make sense. So they were, 22 says they were greatly distressed. Each one asked in turn, am I the one, Lord? Now come on. They trying to pick God's brain, Jesus' brain. They trying to figure out, Jesus, is it me? But I guess the question to them is, are you doing something to betray me? What are you doing behind the scenes? What are your so-called friends or your so-called supporters doing behind the scenes? Are they really supporting you? Or are they really killing your vision and your dream and what you got going on behind the scenes? With corrupt lips, Ephesians 4:26, don't let nothing corrupt come out of your mouth. We talked about communication in Bible study. We've been talking about communication for the last 3 months. Great conversation. Great conversation. And so each and every one of them is saying, Lord, is it me? Is it me? Is it me? It's almost like, are y'all guilty? What you doing? Why should I think it's you? What y'all got going on? And in 23, it says, he replied, one of you have just eaten from this bowl with me will betray me. For the Son of Man must die, as the scriptures declared long ago. But how terrible. He just told them they fate, y'all. I think once I would have heard the man of God that has been teaching me, been covering me, been encouraging me, been providing through his Father every step of the way. You hear me? You hear what I'm saying? After they done left everything behind to follow him. Family, friends, home, country, finances. Because, oh yeah, some of them was rich. Matthew, he had money. He was a tax collector. He had money and status. So he told them what was going to happen. And at that point, I think I would have backed out the deal. If I was the one that was trying to betray my friend, my closest friend, and then he called it out in front of me, baby, I would have been on fire. You know what? Abort mission. I can't do it. Them little 30 pieces ain't worth it. Because this is what he told him. He said, but how terrible it will be for the one who betrays him. It would be better, far better for that man if he had never been born. What kind of mess is that? So you gonna wish you wasn't even ever born because of the schemes and the traps that you trying to set for the man or woman of God. If I'm talking to you tonight, I'm telling you, hear the words that are coming out of my mouth. Don't try to set snares and traps for people. Because the Bible says the same ditch you digging, the same trap you setting, the same snare that you got waiting on somebody, you gonna fall in it. You gonna be trapped yourself. But I don't think Judas even, I think he was trying to play the game. He really didn't understand the power Jesus had. Because if he did the entire time he was walking with him, he should have known that he was going to get caught, that he was going to get called out, that he was going to be exposed. So the people that say they your friends, the people that say they support you, the people that you have around you to put batteries in your back, to encourage you, whatever you got relationships for around you, Jesus is saying to me and you never know. I pray we know, but you just never know. It be the closest ones to you that disappoint you the most. It be the closest ones to you that you think should be and will support. I got a friend and he has a clothing line, and he's been having a clothing line, I'm at least say maybe at least 13, 14 years. And I remember when he first got his clothing line, when it first came out, it was almost like it was hot and then it wasn't. It was not. Like that first 30 days, everybody was pushing, oh, let me get. But you know us, I always want to get a discount. I always want to get a deal. But he's trying to build his business. And we were sitting down having a conversation one day because he was about to do a fashion show. And he said, Crystal, what I realized is the people that I thought was going to support me and should have been supporting me, including family, are the people that don't support me. He said, you'll be surprised. It's the strangers that keep my business going. It's the strangers that show me the most love. Not the people that I see every day, not the people that I'm there to support when they need me. And once I start building this business out, and I'm building it from ground up, grassroots, those words ring into my mind more and more. And it keeps me grounded because it brings me back to mind. And I want you to think about why you're doing what you're doing. Do you do it for other people? Or do you do it because God has given you a vision, an assignment, a plan, a predestined plan for your life, and you're walking in it? And so I have to remind myself when I look around and I realize it's just me. When I get up and I'm, and family included, like you said, I mean, this it didn't just stop with him. It goes for me and you. Keep going. So what? You only got one person on your podcast, but you got 72 people in your family, and ain't none of them supporting you in your business. It doesn't matter. You keep going. Okay, I know I got sidetracked a little bit, but you keep going. But I was flabbergasted because one, he told them in their face, I know one of y'all ain't right. I know something going on. And I'm going to get even deeper because the person that's a snake is sitting at my table. How many snakes is sitting at your table right now? Ooh. How many snakes are slithering around you? How many people in wolves in sheep clothing do you have planted around you? And you call this your support? And what's crazy is he told them, you think that you're going to betray me? You would have been better off not ever being born. That's crazy. That's crazy work right there. To tell somebody, if you think you're going to come against me, the wrath that you're going to face, you're going to wish you wasn't born. The next time somebody, God gives me discernment, download the Holy Ghost to flip on and say, Crystal, this ain't right. That ain't right. And they sitting at my table, or they in my circle, or they in my atmosphere, and they think I don't know, I can't wait to tell them, boy, the wrath you gonna get for trying to set me up and betray me, you gonna wish you were never born. I'm gonna be like, that was Jesus' words, not mine. And in 25, it says, Judas, the one who would betray him, also asked, Rabbi, am I the one? The gall, the cojones, okay? But I guess he was trying to play it off, because if everybody else was asking, I guess he figured if I don't ask, he gonna know it's me. And that's just like people. They think that they can lie to you, but when you got the Holy Ghost, when you got discernment, they can't pull the shades over your eyes. Because God is going to allow you to see what you need to see when you need to see it. He's an on-time God. And so he said, Rabbi, is it me? Is it me? I could just imagine Jesus, if he had glasses, looked over him and said, the words he said, you said it. You have said it. You said it, not me. So he was exposed, even though he was trying to hide in the crowd. Even though he was trying to hide behind the other 11 and not seem out of place, not seem like anything was out of whack, like Jesus wasn't going to notice. But he didn't understand, again, like I said, the power that God had given him and the relationship that Jesus had with God and how he walked with him, how he talked to him and told him he was his own. And God does the same thing with us. Because we're created in Jesus' image, God does the same thing with us. He talks with us and he walks with us. Just, the thing is, are we listening? When God is telling us that something ain't right in the camp, are we listening? But I can't believe Jesus called him out and told him exactly what he wanted to hear. I don't think that Judas thought that Jesus was going to say that. See, I think people think Jesus is weak and he a punk. But Jesus the hardest person I know. Because if you really read your word, Jesus be talking crazy. But see, he do it in love. Oh yeah, just because you're a Christian don't mean you can't talk crazy. You just got to talk crazy in love. You got to use the word against them. That hurt him more than anything. I can remember this. I had this certain person that just really didn't like me and just picked on me, and I couldn't understand why. I couldn't for the life of me. Never had done anything to this person, never really said anything to this person. So one day we were all standing around and I think I was talking or something, and they walked up and was rude and interrupted and said something nasty. And so instead of me clapping back, and Lord knows I wanted to say something bad, and I think that's why he bridled my tongue, but he gave me the words to say. And so in my stuttering, because I was trying to get my words together, I was trying to figure out how I was going to respond, because I really wanted to give this person the business. And all I said was, Satan, get behind thee. Do you know that sent them into a frenzy? Baby, I think that hurt them more than me using cuss words and getting out of character and letting them see another side of me that didn't reflect God. So when I tell you, when people try to play in your face, get them with that word. Tell the truth on them with that word. They can't do nothing. Baby, that demon is going to tremble and flee. Listen to what I'm telling you. It tremble and flee. Like I said, Judas really thought that Jesus was dumb. You know what they say, I was born at night, but not last night. Jesus was born at night, but he wasn't born that night. And people really think that they can play in your face. They think that you are stupid and they lie right in your face. And so even after they got done with the Last Supper, I told you they had a full day, y'all. They got up from that place and was going to the Mount of Olives. And this is where Jesus is in the Garden of Gethsemane. And this is where it gets real. But even on the way, in 31 in Matthew 26, it says, on the way, Jesus told them, tonight, all of you will desert me. He didn't say one, he didn't say two, he said, all of you will desert me. For the scriptures say, God will strike the shepherd and the sheep of the flock will scatter. His time was near, y'all. Your time is near. Your breakthrough, you are on the brink of a breakthrough. Don't give up because ain't nobody around. Don't give up because it's hard. And in 33, Peter was his homeboy. If you had to be any character in the Bible, I'm Peter. Because Peter a gangster. Okay, Peter talk crazy. Peter be ready to fight. And I thank God that, deliverance is real, but I'm still human. And I ask God to help me to fight the old man each and every day, new grace and mercy each and every day. And so Peter was a gangster. He was like his best friend. The word says Jesus told Peter, on my rock will I build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail. He was a major prophet. Peter was one of the high priests in God's church, in Jesus' church. He was the man. Peter was the man. And it said in 33, Peter declared, even if everyone else deserts you, I will never desert you. How many people have come into your life and told you, I'm here for good, I'll never leave you? They see other people, how they mistreat you, how they're not there for you, and you confide in them, and you tell them how you feel and how you were hurt, that you were all alone and doing it by yourself, and that nobody was there to support you on your big moment. And they tell you, I will never do what they did. I'll never hurt you. I'll never talk to you like that. I'll never leave you. I'll always be right there. How many Peters are listening to me tonight? He said, no matter what, Jesus, I'm your man. I'm your boy. I'm your ace boom coon. I'm your bro. Even if everybody else, I don't care what the other 11 do, I'll never desert you. And in 34, Jesus told Peter, I tell you the truth, Peter, this very night, today, before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times that you ever even knew me. I believe that Jesus is starting to understand, and it gets clearer and clearer with each moment of the day, and each step, and each next event, and each different place that they go to, that the time is near, and that I'm going to look around, and it's just going to be me. That's tonight's topic. When you look around and you realize it's just you, do you get scared and do you fold? Or do you say, you know what? I got this. I'm going to put it all on my shoulders, all on my back, and I'm going to make sure that I succeed. And in 35, after Peter then declared his love and his loyalty, that he wasn't going to leave Jesus. And Jesus turned around and told him, before the night falls, before this day even passed, you going to deny me 3 times and tell people you don't even know who I am. And you've been walking with me for the last 3 years. You one of the main ride or die soldiers in my army. You the rock that I'm building my church on. You who I have go perform signs, miracles, and wonders in the name of my Father. You who I send out unto the byways and the highways to speak to the people, to bring them to me. This is what Jesus is thinking and saying. And in 35, Peter said, no, with an exclamation mark. That's what my Bible got. Peter insisted, meaning he was persistent. He didn't just say, no, Jesus, you tripping. Now, he was trying to convince Jesus that what he told him was a lie. How many people have tried to convince you that what you think ain't really the truth? That ain't going to happen. Don't worry. I'm telling you, I'm going to be here. And how about the person telling you has even demonstrated sometimes that they're there? Never once in my Bible, and I haven't read the whole Bible, have I seen in the Bible where when Jesus needed the 12 disciples, until we get here, to do something or to be somewhere or to carry something out, that they didn't have Jesus's back. They even was watchful and putting their ear to the ground when people in these towns and cities that they were going in were whispering that they were trying to kill Jesus. And so he says, no, Peter insisted, even if I have to die with you, I will never deny you. Woo. Bible country, you know that ain't true. Even if you don't read your Bible and you watched the Passion of the Christ, you know that ain't true. He said, even if I have to die with you, Jesus, I will never deny you. And all the other disciples vowed the same. Like God wasn't out, like Jesus wasn't all knowing, and God ain't all knowing. So you mean to tell me that you think the words that Jesus says are a lie and they void and he gonna have to eat them? The devil is a lie. God is the Father of truth. Jesus is the Son of truth. So anytime Jesus speaks something, you best believe your bottom dollar is going to come to pass. You best believe your bottom dollar that you're not going to find no falsehood or no lies within anything that he says. So all of them said, we going to die for you, God, and we ain't going to respond. We ain't going to deny you when people ask us. So my question is, would you give your life for somebody else? Yeah, I hear you. I know you give your life for your kids, and I jump in front of a bullet for my wife or my husband. But what if it ain't your family? What if it ain't your kids, somebody you birthed? But it's somebody that you told them, I will never leave you. Will you tell your friend that I die for you? It's rhetorical. You don't have to answer it. I don't want you to answer it. But for some of us, majority of us, we know good and well that we ain't about to die for nobody. Because the first thing you're going to say is, would they die for me? I know I'm right about it. It sounded good coming out of your mouth. You probably had all great intentions. That you know what? I probably would sacrifice my body for somebody that's been providing for me and loving me and keeping me and caring for me and helping me to grow spiritually and bringing me to God. Yeah, you had all good intentions, but would you really give your life for somebody? Would you give your life for your brother and sister? And I'm not talking about your biological brother and sister. Something to think about. But this is when Jesus realized it was just him. So like I stated, as they were going to the Mount of Groves, they were going to the Garden of Gethsemane. And at that place, the Garden of Gethsemane was a holy place. It had olives all around, and olives signifies purity, consecration. So where they were going was a holy place. And so the Garden of Gethsemane, it was like a hill, but it had multiple levels to this hill. And at the bottom was just like a underpass or just the first level. And then you had to go up, and then that's where the olives were. You had to go to a certain point in this mount. That's why it's called Mount of Olives. It was sitting on top of a mountain almost, but it was a garden of olives. Okay. And so it was called the Garden of Gethsemane. And so as they were going to the Mount of Olives, and when they reached the Mount of Olives and they got to the base of the mountain, Jesus told 8 of the disciples, I want you to stay here. And he took 3 of them with him. And I believe it was Peter, James, and John that he took with him. And so it begs to differ that some of us have a circle, but then within that circle, some of us have an inner circle. And in the inner circle, like Jesus, this was the same people that said just 4-5 verses ago that I will die for you and I'm not going to deny you. Them ain't my words. They said it. That I will die for you. Because Jesus told them, before the day ends, you gonna deny me. And they refused to believe it. But as these 3 that he has taken with him to go to a certain place, the Garden of Gethsemane, he started to really express how he felt on the inside. You got so many people around you, but you can only tell what you really feel and how you really feel on the inside to a certain amount of people. Everybody don't have that kind of access to you. Everybody shouldn't have that kind of access to you. We talking about when you look around and you realize you're the only one. This is when God is at that point where he's about to understand that no matter how many people are around him, who he got with him in his crew, that when he really, really looks around, it's only going to be him. And so Jesus tells these three that my soul is crushed with grief to the point of death. He didn't really, he was so anguished. He was so down in his spirit. Why? Because Jesus knew what was about to be his story, his future. The prophecies that have been told for years, hundreds of years, is about to come to pass. And that was that he was about to be sacrificed on the cross for you and me. That's a heavy pill to swallow. That's a heavy journey and a heavy task and a heavy assignment that you have to face. And surely to God, when you got a heavy assignment or a heavy task, you won't support. Surely to God, when you're going through the most difficult things in your life, facing the most turmoil in your life, your situations, you won't support. You want to look around and realize that you're not the only one there. When you are down to nothing, you want people that are your so-called friends, your so-called family around you to speak life into you. And so this gives us a glimpse that Jesus was truly human nature in the way God intended him to be. Because he was telling them, y'all, I'm hurt. Like to the point where I am so heavy laden that I want to die. I don't want to face my situation. I just want to lay here and I want to die. I want to give up. I want to throw in the towel. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't even want, it hurts too bad and I ain't even at the end yet. It's too hard and I ain't at the end yet. I just started and I got to do it all by myself and it's tiring and I don't want to do it yet. And I'm not even at the end. That's where Jesus was. And he was telling his three closest, his inner circle friends. But once he got done telling them that, he told them to stay right here because now I'm about to go to another level. Follow me. I'm going somewhere. Jesus is telling them, I'm going to another level, but I can't take you. You got to stay here. But while you're here, what I need you to do is keep watch. Now now they just told him that I'm your ride or die. They just said that they would die for him and they weren't going to never leave him. So Jesus is giving them instructions to say, hey, while I go to this next level, this other place, I got to go talk to God for myself. But I need y'all right here, bushy-eyed, tails wagging, keeping eye to make sure, one, because the people are after me, they on my trail. They trying to find out where I am. And I need you to make sure that while I'm over here stealing away, trying to have a conversation in peace with God, that ain't nobody coming up behind me trying to kill me. You got my back, right? And they say, go on, Jesus, you right. We got you. We're going to stay here. We're going to pray for you. We're going to keep watch. Make sure don't nobody else come up this hill because we're going to stop them before they even get to you. They his armor bearers. They supposed to stop before they even get to the man of God. So that was their job. And so even though you are in a place right now where you feel exactly where Jesus did, where he was crushed with grief, that means crushed. He didn't have anything left in him to the point that he wanted to die. I know Jesus wasn't by himself on tonight, but the thing is, he said, you know what? I got to leave my friends. I got to leave my support. I got to leave my comfort. And I got to go talk to a man that I know hears my cry. I got to go talk to a man that has gotten me out of plenty situations before, but I got to let him know because he gave me this assignment that I don't want to do it. Jesus was real. Jesus was saying, hold up, wait a minute, let me put my 2 cents in it. I know what I was supposed to do, but it's getting close and it's getting real, and I don't want to do it, God. How many of us told God that? He has given us an assignment. He has given us a glimpse or even told you what your plan and your purpose was. And you said, okay, God, I got it. I'm walking upright. I'm holding it tight. I'm speaking it with power and authority. But as it got closer for your assignment to really, really be in the nitty gritty of it, you said it's too hot in the kitchen and I don't want to do it. Some of us have blocked our blessing because we stopped and aborted the mission prematurely. Some of us keep on going around that mulberry bush and trying to figure out why you can't get off the emotional roller coaster, why you can't get no breakthrough in your finances, in your relationship, in your home, why your kids are in an uproar. As because we have aborted the mission. We have aborted the baby prematurely, and what God was instilling and putting in the oven in us, we didn't want to do it, so we threw it away. We threw his promises and gifts away. And so as Jesus went and left that was the inner circle, y'all. Okay, that's what I call the inner circle. He left his inner circle on the second level and he went. Realize that God is telling you that no matter wherever he's taking you, when you get to a certain level, you got to go by yourself. You going to look around and realize that it's just you. My God, I pray I'm helping somebody on tonight. Thank you. Thank you, sis. Said, Lord, help on today. I pray I'm helping somebody on today. Because I want you to be strengthened when you look around and realize the people you think are going to support you ain't going to support you. They got good intentions, but they ain't going to support you. Self-sabotage. You absolutely right. Self-sabotage. We mess up our own blessing. We mess up our own self, the plan God got for us. That's why he can't reveal everything at once. If he told you and showed you exactly where he was taking you from A to Z, if he showed you exactly what you would be and where you would be in 20 years, you would mess it up because some of it would scare you. Because God is going to blow your mind with the plan and the destiny that he has for you. Eyes have not seen and ears have not heard what God has in store for you. We can't even imagine what God got laid up for us, waiting for us to walk that narrow road, because everybody can't walk it. Everybody can't walk the narrow road. Thank you for the light. Thank you, God. Osprey says, he that endures to the end. That's right. And I may mess this up, but the word says he doesn't give power to no. I'm gonna leave it alone because I don't want to mess it up. Because I know God's word, and I don't want to mess it up. Not by power, not by might, but by my strength, saith the Lord. Thank you, Holy Ghost. See how he see how he downloads stuff when you need it? See how when you're going through, the word regurgitates and comes back up right on time because it's written on the tablets of your heart? That's why it's important to know the word, feed on the word, read the word. It take 1 minute. 1 minute. I know I got off track. But, so Jesus told them, stay right there. So as he goes to this next level, in 40, he tells God when he goes to pray, he's laying bowed with his face to the ground. He ain't giving God. See, he desperate. Jesus desperate. Because only when you desperate will you be prostrate, laid flat on the ground. And the word said he bowed with his face to the ground. See, we want to give God this pity-patty prayer. We want to go to him mediocre and expect him to do a awesome supernatural blessing and thing and movement in our life. But we come to him mediocre. And when you in a desperate situation, baby, your posture is different. When you in a desperate situation, the way you pray and how you pray and where you pray, it is different. When you in a desperate situation. And Jesus was in a desperate situation, and he prayed while he had his face laying to the ground. And I want you to catch this, saying, my Father, is it possible? Jesus said, is it possible that this cup of suffering be taken away from me? Yet I want your will to be done and not mine. Jesus is saying, I got good intentions, God. I know what you said to me. I know what the plan is. But see, when he said, is it possible? Lets me and you know that he wasn't sure if he wanted to do this. I know some of us have been in places and in positions and walking that road where we say, wait a minute, put the brakes on. Hold on. I don't know if it's really what I want. After you didn't ask God for 5 years, Lord, give me more. Lord, increase my territory. Lord, much is given, much is required. You reciting these words as if these words don't have power. You reciting things and letting things come out of your mouth as if it won't manifest. I need you to believe that everything you speak out of your mouth that is God will come to pass, and it will manifest as long as it's the will of God. Jesus said it too. He's begging him. Lord, can you please take this cup of suffering away from me? He didn't want to feel how he felt. He didn't want to go to the cross for you and my raggedy tail to be crucified. He didn't want to do it, but he understood. See, this is the difference. Even though he didn't want to do it, he still understood God's plan for his life. He still understood that, Lord, I'm just telling you how this flesh feels. But if you tell me to go, I'm going to go. I've been trusting you this long. I've been trusting you this far. You've gotten me from here to here, kept me from seen and unseen danger. You kept some arrows of the enemy away from me, some traps and some ditches away from me. You took the keys, you stole the keys of death from the grave. And so, but if it's your will, let it be done. But if you can change your mind, God, this is what he's saying. But if you can change your mind, please change your mind for me, because I don't want to do it. Here's the kicker: when Jesus knew that, he looked around and he was on his own. So as he gets done the first time praying and saying, okay, let me go check on my friends. Let me see what they doing. Let me see where they at. We was in I know God's offspring and my sister is gonna love this. He said, YWC, how you coming? He was about to ask his boys, how y'all what? How you coming? So he went to go check on them. Y'all, in 40, when he returned to the disciples, he found them asleep. He said, Peter, because why? Peter was his ace. He was number one. He was the man. Peter was the leader, if you ask me. Like, all of them was leaders in their own right, but Peter was the leader. Everybody got, and don't be mad, everybody got a leader in the circle. He was a natural born leader. So Peter was his right-hand man, Jesus's right-hand man. And so instead of, because remember it was James, John, and Paul and Peter. So instead of him saying, why y'all can't stay up, he said, Peter, can't you watch even for 1 hour? Meaning, he wasn't even up there praying for an hour and they would sleep, but it was the same three, the same inner circle, the same people he took with them to the next level, because he left the other 8 down there at the base of the mountain, because he could only take certain people with him. And even the people that he chose to take with him that was in his inner circle still didn't have his back when he really needed it. Am I talking to somebody on tonight? He said, you mean to tell me you couldn't even keep up, keep your eye open for an hour? Because when I told y'all how I was feeling, you told me, okay, Jesus, we gonna sit here, we gonna wait for you to come down from the mountain after talking to God. We gonna keep watch. Why? Because we know people are on their way to try to kill you. They are running around the city trying to kill you. You just told us that somebody that was sitting with us, that was close, was gonna betray you anyway into the hands of the enemy, and that your time was near and was coming. But we got your back. We told you we was gonna pray with you. We was gonna keep up, make sure don't nobody come up that mountain, and we was gonna stop them. They could have got Jesus right then and there while he was praying at the Garden of Gethsemane. Why? Because his homeboys, his support, his brothers was on the job sleeping. So what did Jesus do? Again, at that moment, I think, I know, and I ain't crazy. That's when he knew and he realized that it was going to be just him. But he didn't want to believe it though. Just like us. We got people in our atmosphere, in our circles, that they let us down, and we believe let us down one time or twice, or not there in huge moments of our lives when we need them. And you can't believe, and you don't believe that their actions are opposite of what they said. They tell you they're going to be there, but they've shown you that they ain't going to be there. Jesus still didn't believe it. Why? You don't want to believe that the people that say they love you ain't going to be there for you. So he went back. He told them, I just need y'all to keep praying. I'm going to go back up here because I need to listen some more from the Lord, because he really ain't answered me yet, but I'm going to pray some more. And so it says in 42, Jesus left them for a second time and prayed. And when he prayed, he said, my Father, if this cup cannot be taken away, because when Jesus went the first time, God didn't answer him. The word didn't say, he said, Lord, if it's possible, can you take this cup away from me? And God said, my son, I will be happy to. Or, no, boy, you're going to get up on that cross. You're going to fulfill the prophet. You're going to fulfill the prophecy. He didn't say one mumbling word. God was silent while he was praying. Some of us are praying right now in our detriment situations, in our circumstances, trying to find out what is our purpose. What are we doing? God, I need you to lead me. And he's silent. That's okay. While God is silent, is not the time for you to abort the mission. It is not the time for you to give up and throw in the towel. It's not the time for you to go back down the mountain that you have climbed up to get to God. It's not the time, because see, that's when God is working miracles, signs, and wonders on your behalf in his silence. Because he wants to see, as we talked about in church, he wants to see what you gonna do in your silence, in his silence. He wants to see what your response is gonna be. He wants to see if your surrendering is for real. He wants to see if the words that come out of your mouth, are they fake or are they real? Soon as the going gets tough, you bail. How many friends do you got or people in your life that soon as the going gets tough, they bail? Soon as the going gets tough in your life, they ghost you. You don't hear from them. They don't call you. But soon as you good, and soon as they want you to go out, and soon as they want you to have fun, they back there. They calling your phone, texting you 25 times, checking you, telling me how you doing, what you doing. Let me come over. And so after Jesus went the second time and asked God, if his cup, he realized that you ain't answering me. So that's my answer right there, that I got to keep on keeping on. So he said, if this cup cannot be taken away from me unless I drink it, then let your will be done. Jesus is understanding and getting the revelation in this moment that I got a prophecy to fulfill. I got a plan that is bigger than me. You got a plan and a prophecy that is bigger than you, that you got to fulfill. If God said it, you got to go. And believe you me that if he brought you to it, he's going to bring you through it. I know it don't seem like it in the through that you're going to come out on the other side. But as long as you keep moving, God is walking with you every step of the way. So when he returned to them again after the second time, he found them sleeping again, for they couldn't keep their eyes open. My question to you is, what happened to I got your back and I'll die for you? See, that's the second time they didn't fell asleep on Jesus. So what am I to think? Am I to think that you're really there to support me when I really need it, when I didn't pour my heart out to you, when I didn't told you? And see, I've always been the strong one. You've always been the strong one. And when you really get down to nothing, the strong people, that's when they tell what is going on. So Jesus had the courage and the ability to tell the closest three to him that he was weary and that he didn't really want to go. He didn't say to them that he didn't want to go do this, but that he was weary and that he was carrying a lot of weight on him and that it was too much pressure to bear. And you down there sleeping for the second time? Am I to believe that you really there to support me when every time I look around, it's just me? Come on. How many opportunities, and I got a couple of people on here and I hope you answer. How many opportunities do you give somebody or something before you realize they're not going to be there? When they went to sleep on Jesus the first time, and he got on Peter, not James and John, but he got on Peter. And if I was Peter, I would have been getting on him after he got on me. I would have been like, Jesus, you don't see the other two right here? They were asleep too. I would have said the same thing. Well, he didn't say in the Bible he said it, but I would have said something. And so with that being said, he caught him sleep the first time. He went back and then came down the second time and they were still asleep again. So how many opportunities do you give something or somebody before you realize they ain't going to be there? How many times do you give somebody to show you that what is coming out of their mouths don't line up with their actions? For some of us, it don't take long. For some of us, baby, you got 1 or 2 times for me to bump my head against the wall. And you tell me, you show me real quick. Because see, I don't have patience. I don't have patience. I've been hurt. I've been through too much stuff to constantly sit in toxicity or to let you abuse me and hurt me. And now there's a difference. Let me put a disclaimer on here, because people are people. And I like to say, sometimes I have to, especially when I know I have to teach people how to treat me, because sometimes what I said in the beginning of the show is your definition of friendship is different from my definition of friendship, especially if you don't know me and you ain't been around me and we're trying to cultivate a new friendship or relationship. So you have to show people grace. People are going to mess up. People are going to offend you until if you haven't told them what, don't do X, Y, and Z, or I don't like A, B, and C, and D. But people are human. People make mistakes. People offend people every day. Should you immediately cut them off? No. Don't hold people accountable till they know. When people are ignorant to the fact, what just means you don't know, you got to give them an opportunity that when they know, then they can do better. See, when I know better, I do better. And so if I hadn't told you that you poking me in the head, I don't like it, but you keep poking me, and then I tell you, hey, John, I don't like you poking me in my head. And I say, oh, he says, okay, Crystal, I ain't gonna poke you no more. But yet he keep poking me. How many times after I done told him that I don't like that, it does something to me, it offends me, how many times am I gonna let him keep poking me in the head before I realize that they shouldn't be around me? They shouldn't be in my circle. I preached a message one time called proximity. It costs to be close. And so That goes twofold. If I am the friend, if I am the inner circle, it costs to be close to people. And sometimes that means that you have to sacrifice and you have to support when you don't want to support. You have to come out of yourself and think about somebody besides yourself. If you want people to support you in whatever you do, you got to support other people. And I learned that. People have events all the time. You send 372 invites on Facebook talking about your event, and only 3 people come, and 2 of them is your family members. Why? You got to ask yourself, do you support anybody else? Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. And if you sit back and you're honest with yourself and you realize, well, now I get invites, I don't go here, I don't go there, and you, whether it's good intentions and you got 5 jobs and that's why you can't go, or you got 15 things on your calendar and you decide not to support that person or that event, when you have yours, don't be surprised when you don't have support and participation. Ask yourself, do you do the same? Do you support other people? Are you there for other people? And so that twofold thing, as a friend, it costs to be close proximity. Are you supporting people when they need you, and especially in their time, in their really time of need? Because you can need people for other stuff, but when there is something that's detrimental, your trials and tribulations that are almost about to take you out, some things that got you bogged down and you heavy laden and burdened, are they there to support you and help you? Or do you look around and find out that you're by yourself? You got people around you, but you still by yourself. I can remember in a relationship, and I won't get deep into it, but I was in a relationship and I would tell my best friend, it's worse being by yourself and being alone. I mean, it's bad being by yourself and being alone, but it's worse when you with somebody and you still feel alone. That is the loneliest place to be. You should not have people in your atmosphere, in your proximity, and you still feel like you won't have nobody. Ooh-wee. It's time to reevaluate your circle. And in Jesus's case, talking about proximity and it costs to be close, even though he was hurting, even though he was feeling the pressure, even though it was getting real in the field, real in the field, he didn't want to do it. But when he said, Lord, if it's possible, take this cup from me, but if not, let your will be done, he understood that there is a plan and a purpose, and it costs for me to be the son of the true and living God. It costs to have an assignment and a purpose and a promise on your life. Hear me good. It costs to have a purpose and a promise from God on your life. And sometimes you're going to look around and realize that it's just you. But in that moment when you realize it's just you, you may not have people that are physically around you, but you always got God. The Holy Spirit will never leave you nor forsake you. How do you think you came up out of that situation without your mama's help, without your daddy's help, without your friend's advice? Your money couldn't get you out of it. Your title couldn't get you out of it. It wasn't nothing but God. It wasn't nothing but God. Because when you think you are by yourself, when you think you are alone, the devil is a lie. God is always with you. His word says, I am always with you. One of my favorite scriptures, I think I read last week, Isaiah 43:2. He said, when you pass through the rivers, I will be with thee. When the waters try to overtake you, you will not drown. And when you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. He says, no matter what situation and circumstance, no matter what you face, no matter how heavy the pressure gets, no matter how low you are, no matter how empty, and you ain't got nothing to give nobody, not even yourself, he's there. All you got to do is do what Jesus did. Go to your garden. Go to the Garden of Gethsemane. Go to your altar. Go in the bathroom. Go in your car and start crying out to God. And telling him exactly how you feel, even though you know the promise on your life. And if God happens to be silent, that is not an answer to give up and abort. That is even the more that you hold on and you keep on. The word on Sunday in our house at New Unity was, though they slay me, yet will I trust him. Though your situations, though the fiery darts of the enemy are trying to come against you and kill you, though the enemy is trying to eat upon your flesh, you will survive. Because that's not God's will for your life. But sometimes, some realms, some different heights, some levels, we got to go by ourselves. And we got to be okay that what you call your support, you going to look up and they won't be there. That doesn't mean they don't have good intentions. Sometimes that don't even mean they don't love you. But God is taking you to some places and some journeys that only you can go. Some people ain't supposed to go with you no way. So listen, in 44, Jesus says, it says, so he went to go pray a third time, saying the same thing. Then he came back to the disciples because he found them asleep again for the third time. Now, again, how many times do somebody got to show you that they not in your corner? I know that sounds hard about the disciples. I'm just telling you what I see in the word. How many times do somebody got to show you that they not going to be there before you cut ties, before you shake the dust off your feet and keep it moving? And we're moving. Yeah. He said he went back down to the third time. And at this point, Jesus is over it. He said he came to the disciples and said, you know what, y'all, go ahead and sleep. Have your rest. I'm glad you sit there with your eyes closed while I'm up here praying to God on my behalf. See, because what that did was just show me and clarify and stamp from God that this is something that I'm going to have to go through on my own. My friends can't go to the cross for me. My friends can't carry this cross for me. I'm going to have to do this on my own with the help of God. He says, but look, the time has come and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. 46 says, up, telling his disciples, get up now, hitting them. Get up. I want y'all to look at this. Let's be going. Look, my betrayers are here. He's seen them coming for him. And instead of his friends watching his back, oh, we got your back. They didn't even see him because they were asleep. Jesus had to wake them up and tell them, come on, y'all. Here they come. They coming for me. He said, the Son of Man's time has come. The person that betrayed me has done what he needed to do. And so, but the craziest thing is when you surrender to God's will, knowing that he got your back and that sometimes he's the only one that got your back, you going to get up and take your mat. You're going to pick your mat up and walk. And you're not going to worry about who don't got your back. You ain't going to worry about who walked away from you. You not going to worry about that you ain't got no friends. You ain't going to worry about your present situation and circumstance. Why? Because your eyes are pressed to the mark in front of you, which is the calling of Jesus Christ. And Jesus knew when he seen his enemy in his forefront coming to him to arrest him, he knew the prophecy was going to be fulfilled. He knew that God would not and did not take the cup of suffering for him, because in order for him to fulfill the assignment, in order for you to fulfill your assignment, God is saying on tonight, I'm not going to take that thorn out your side. I'm not going to take that cup of suffering away from you. You're going to drink it. You're going to walk with the affliction because you're going to make it through the other side. And when you come out on the other side and people ask, how did you drink it when you had all that pressure? How did you do it when you were afflicted? You can say, but God. You won't have the testimony of my friends helped me get out of it. My friends helped me drink the suffering cup. My friends got a tour and took the thorn out of my side. You ain't gonna get that. Your testimony is gonna be, look where God brought me from. He brought me out of the darkness into the marvelous light. You're going to understand that it was worth being close and being in proximity to God. Even though it didn't feel good to get where you needed to go, God got you where you needed to be. My God. My God. Even though the journey seems supportless and lonely, God got angels encamped around you to keep you in perfect peace. To be that pillow or that buffer when you trip or when you fall. To be that bouncing board, that sounding board that when you fall, you bounce and you get right back up. Because God's plan is not done. His promise is not fulfilled in and over your life. And everybody can't go with you. 10 years from now, you're going to thank God that the people that were saying that they were your support ain't in your corner. Because some of them didn't mean you no good. Some of them wasn't supporting your come up. They were supporting your downfall. Behind closed doors. Having secret conversations with the devil and at tables. Witchcraft is real. Witchcraft is real. My mama told me you'll be able to count your true friends on one hand. And I'm about to be 50 and I can count my real friends on my one hand. Even though when I grew up, I had a plethora of friends, girlfriends. Oh, I had a gang of girlfriends. But every level and every chapter in my life and every position and place God took me, somebody fell off. Some people I let go and some people God separated me from. Because you don't need nobody saying, I'll die for you. I'll never leave you and I'll never deny you. And before the day ends, before the sun sets, denies you and betrays you and leaves you for dead. While they said they will cover you and won't no harm come to you, they leave you wide open for harm to destroy you. Everybody can't always go with you. And again, they'll always expose themselves. I'm wrapping up, but they'll always expose themselves. Because at 49, the Pharisees or whatever, the priest told Judas, how we gonna know who Jesus is? Because see, they didn't know what he looked like, really. Some of them didn't know what he looked like. Because while he was teaching in the synagogues, in the streets, and in the cities, they wouldn't go. And then when the ones that did go, they stayed in the back because they was ear hustling, they was lurking. They wasn't there to understand. They were there to figure out who he was and what he was doing because they felt like he wasn't right. They wasn't there to learn the word of God. They weren't there to convert over unto grace and not law. They wanted to follow law. They didn't believe that he was the Messiah. And so in 49, they said, how we gonna know? Judas, what's your sign? Judas said, when y'all get there, when I kiss Jesus, I'm going to kiss Jesus, and that's how you gonna know who he is. The kiss of death. They'll kiss you in your face, smile in your face all the time. They want to take your place. The backstabbers. Backstabbers. I hope y'all was singing while I was singing this. Yeah. He said, I'm going to kiss him. And in 49, when they came, Judas came straight to Jesus. Talking about, greetings, Rabbi. He explained and gave him a kiss. Now, Judas was at the base, from my understanding, when I read the word, if I didn't skip nothing, he was at the base with the other people. So you mean to tell me when you seen them coming, you came with them? And you knew what they was about to do? So Jesus said in 50, my friend, still called him his friend. Woo, Jesus was some kind of man. After he sat at that table at the Last Supper, he already knew that Judas was going to betray him. Judas even played in his face, lied like, God, is it me? No, I would never do that. And when he came up and kissed him, you all in my face, cheesy, smiling, to my greetings, Rabbi. And you still called him a friend? You mean it? Listen, only way you can do that is through prayer and supplication and the Holy Ghost. Somebody that you know betrayed you or is betraying you, you still calling them a friend? You know you walking with God. You know God got a blessing for you. You know you walking in the will of God. You understand that you have surrendered your will to be his will. And after he said, my friend, he told him, go ahead and do what you have come to do. Jesus said, stop playing in my face. You kiss me. I know that was the kiss of death. You got that one. You thought you was doing something. So you go ahead with that kiss. Go ahead with that money they paid you. Go ahead thinking that the setup wasn't really made for my come up. So go ahead, because he told him you did exactly what you came to do. You came so that they could kill me. But remember what Jesus told Judas at that table. Whoever you are, the wrath that you're going to receive from me because of the betrayal you did, you're going to wish you wasn't born. And as you read into 27, you'll find out that Judas Iscariot, baby, he went through. He went delulu. He was he had a breakdown. He hung himself. Didn't even get to spend the money that he got for Jesus's betrayal. He didn't even last days. He might, I think, last a couple of days, but he didn't die, and he died. And I know at that moment, those words that God spoke to them at that table, them disciples, that whoever you are that betrayed me, you gonna wish you was never born. I bet you he wish he was never born. I bet you he wish he was never born. When you realize that even if you have to go, if you have to do it, if you have to build it by yourself, if you have to speak it and you're scared, if you have to walk it, and you got to do all of that by yourself, just remember, as long as you got King Jesus, you don't need nobody else. Come on. Because he's going to give you the confidence, the belief, and the power to know that if he said it, and as long as you go in his will, it's going to line up. Everything going to come to pass. It's going to happen for you. It's on the way. I'm speaking these things to you right now. Don't give up. It's here. It's here. I know your knees is buckling. I know you're tired and don't want to get out the bed. I know you depressed and stressed because you putting in the work and you don't see the harvest. You don't see the fruits of your labor. But this, just like Elijah, don't let him go until he blesses you. Don't let him go till he blesses you, because his word will not return back to him void. He's not a man that he should be mocked, or he's not a man that he should lie. So if you are one of those that you have people, and some of us are codependent, and you are using your friends and your support to be that push for you, and then when they gone, you don't have nobody, you can't get up and do it on your own because you're so used to people enabling you, helping you get out of every bad situation, not allowing God to show you who he is. They come into your rescue every time you call. Your urgency is their emergency. And then when they stop letting your urgency be their emergency, and you don't have that support, you don't have nobody to get you out of your bind, you don't have nobody to give you advice on how to fix the situation, and now you lost. I'm telling you, don't let people be your crutch and your support. Let God be your support, because he's always there. Even when you can't trace him, you can feel him. He's there. He is there. And don't give up. I know that you've looked around and you've realized that it was just you. But I want you to look in the spirit with your eyes and not with the carnal, and know that them footprints that you see walking beside you is God. The footprints in the sand. You know, we used to have in everybody's house, your grandmother's, your mother back in the day, everybody used to have that little portrait or frame with the little footsteps, and they got the scripture in there. Come on. That's for a reason. That's for a reason. I pray you have been blessed on tonight. I thank those that have stayed in here with me on tonight. I know that this is a great conversation. I know that God is in the midst on tonight, and that he just wanted to stop by to tell somebody that has looked around and felt alone, that realized that they didn't have the support that they needed, that God is all the support you need. All you got to do is have faith, believe, and give it to him. Put your trust in him that he will support you and guide you and lead you and push you into every good thing that is for you. I thank y'all. Listen, I can't say it a month. Thank you so much, saying it's an awesome discussion. I appreciate it. Again, the whole point of this podcast is that we can help each other using real life situations, talking to real people. Because at the end of the day, we are human beings and we go through stuff each and every day, and we need help. I need you to survive so that I can survive. If you want to follow me on any other social media platforms, please look me up on Facebook. Make sure you are following Walking Through the Fire on Facebook. You can catch me on Instagram, Anointed37. I'm also on TikTok, Crystal Majors 159. But most importantly, be here every Thursday on Walking Through the Fire, what? LLC on YouTube. Every Thursday at 7:30. I thank you guys. I love y'all. Until next week and we meet again. May God keep you. May God cover you. And may God bless you. Have a good evening.